Hey everybody, how you doing? It's Manitoba Hal here, and it's another Tutorial Tuesday. Today we're going to talk about the minor pentatonic scale. Now I have with me my concert scale ukulele. We're going to stick with that. There is in the description below a link where you can download all of these scale positions so you can have them printed on paper. You don't need to watch this video over and over again to try to memorize it or try to take notes. You can just go download them and you got them. I encourage you to do that. I encourage you to practice them. We're going to talk about the 5 main positions of the pentatonic scale, of the minor pentatonic scale. In a couple weeks I'll come back and we'll do the major pentatonic scale. But let's first of all look at the 5 different positions. Now, I like to think of the positions in terms of the fret markers. I think this is how everyone does it. The first position is frets, the first 3 frets. The second position is from frets 3 to 6. The third position is from frets 5 to 8. The next position is from frets 8 to 10, or 8 to 11, and then 13 is the last position. 13 to 10 is the last position. So all right in this, and that's how we break them up. The scale forms I'm going to show you comprise of patterns that you can remember over and over again, but what they are, you need to remember what they are, is scale notes progressing through, and each of those scales travel up the string the same way. Now the minor pentatonic scale is composed, C minor pentatonic scale is composed of the notes C, D sharp, F, G, B flat, and then the octave C. So there's our first position for you right there. It's that open C string. That's the third string open, the third fret on that C string, the first fret on your E, the third fret on your E, first fret on your A, and the third fret on your A. So you get this. That is your first position. Your second position starts with that third fret on the A string, and it climbs down from there to the 6th fret on your E, 3rd fret on your E, 5th fret on your C, 3rd fret on your C, and open. So you get this. Now you see how that's the exact same scale. Now one thing we can add to that form is we can go up to the 6th fret on the A, which is the octave of that D sharp, right? So we got that's our first notes there. So your whole box is from 6, 3, 6, 3, 5, 3, open. But that's not the root. So now the third position, 8, 6, 8, 6 on the E, 7, 5, 3, open. Now, for those of you who have a low G, you'll notice the scale forms diagram shows notes on the G string that I'm ignoring, but that's because if I play them, that doesn't make any sense, you know, because of our re-entrant tuning that I have on this ukulele. If you have a low G, you can learn them, you should learn them. It's good to know that they're there and how they work. But in terms of practical playing, if you have a re-entrant tuned uke like this, you'll probably only ever use the top 3 strings for your scales. So now the third position we've just covered, the fourth position, 10, 8, 11, 8, 10, 8, 11, 8, 9, 7. So 10 on the A, 8 on the A, 11 on the E, 8 on the E, 10 on the C, and 7 on the C. So, and then our last position is the fifth position, is the 13th fret on the A, 10, 13 on the E, 11 on the E, 12 on the C, and one step below that on 10 on the C. But again, that's our C, right? So those are your 5 positions. Now, you're going to want to practice them and get really comfortable. I suggest that you pick one a day and just run it for 10 to 15 minutes. Next day, pick the next one. Pay attention to where your C's are, because if you're going to be working with C, you always want to know how to get back to a C. Because that's what you're going to want to do. You want to look for your C's, your F's, and your G's, because if you're playing the blues, those are going to be your key tones. And they're all in there because, like, for example, our C minor has our C, B flat, G, F, D sharp, C. So I've got my principal chords once you've got all your 5 scales practiced and memorized and you can play through them up and down, you're probably asking yourself, why do I care? Now, I hear you. You know, you're thinking to yourself, if they're all the same scale, like if I learn all the same notes right here, why do I need to know them here? Why do I need to know them here, etc.? And you don't have to. You could totally do them only down here. You can only play your scales and your melodies down here. Many artists have done it that way. The reason you want to learn all the positions is because you want to be able to travel up with a melody and with interest in your progression. So for example, if I'm playing a solo, I might want that high D sharp. Well, the only place I can get that D sharp otherwise is here. So I can't get that without going to the second position. Or maybe I want the F. I want that F to be really high instead of just this. I can get to my G way up here instead of just here, you see? So all of this is knowing that scale. Now, so learn all the shapes because they all play together. You can totally run a scale, you know. It just makes it a lot more fun to be able to go more places. So there you have it, your 5 minor pentatonic scales. Play through them, have some fun, and I'll see you in a couple weeks with the major pentatonic scales. Oh, wait. I can't sign off yet. I forgot to give you the last piece of information. Now, we're talking, we were learning the 5 basic minor pentatonic positions in the key of C. But what if you want to play in the key of D? What if you want to play in the key of E, etc.? Well, all you need to do is take those shapes that you know and move them up. So for example, if I'm taking the first position scale here, so 3, 1, 3, 1, 3, open, right? That's my first position. And I want to play a D. All I do is take that C and start it on the D. Now because I've moved up 2 frets, when I go to play that open C, I have to play a 2nd fret on the C string, a D note, because that's the way that scale form works. If I want to play an E, I go up 2 more frets, right? So I'm starting at 7, 5, 7, 5, 7, 4, right? And all of the forms do that. They all move up the same way. So once you learn that basic pattern, you can play in any key just by making sure you start on the right note from the key and you know your forms. So there it is. That's all the information you need to know to be a blues legend with pentatonic scales. So practice away, have some good fun, and I recommend that if you've got a looper or you've got a friend, get them to come over and play a blues progression while you just run the scales and start playing licks. That's how you figure out how to play melodies and sound good. You might find it intimidating at first. I encourage you to do it anyway. The only way you develop your vocabulary is by speaking. You know, when you were a child and you were being taught to speak, you said a lot of things that were nonsense because you were trying to figure out the language. And it didn't stop you because you were young and you were fearless. And now that you're an adult, you're afraid of looking foolish. So don't be afraid. Practice. Step out. Make those mistakes with your friends, confident in the knowledge that each mistake is taking you one step closer to mastery of a scale and for soloing purposes. Anyway, have yourself a great day. Stay warm if it's cold. If it's cold where you are, I'm in the northern hemisphere. It is cold here today. If you're in the southern hemisphere, I know I have fans down there. You know, take some clothing off and go sit by the beach and have a frosty beverage on my. Well, for me, that's what I'm trying to say. Have a frosty beverage for me. Toast are my cold bits. Anyway, have a great day, and we'll see you in a couple weeks. I want to thank you for stopping in and watching my video. I want to remind you that these videos are brought to you by the fine folks at Patreon. Patreon is a patronage service where you contribute to the creation of videos like this that you see for free, and in exchange you get videos that no one else sees. Right now I'm running a couple of different behind-the-scenes series. One is called Ukulele at the Crossroads, where I am taking tracks that are old classic blues songs, and I'm transcribing them for baritone and soprano ukulele duets.
Can't you hear that deep whistle blow? Can't you hear that deep whistle blow? Man, it blows just like it's never blown before.
And The people who are part of that program get both every time I put one out. And there's all kinds of other stuff going on. So follow the link below, and if it's something that suits you, I encourage you to check it out. Anyway, have yourself a great day.